After waking up, our protagonist John finds himself confused. He is in a strangely familiar dark room. On the walls, large letters spell out L.A.G. John realizes that he is back where he started. He has gone back in time. In frustration, he pounded his fist on the ground. Everything he had worked for was gone. He shouted with all his might. He thought about all the people he had met as he lay still for several minutes. Finally, he stood up. He had to strategize on how to move forward. He stood there thinking about how many times he had gone through this, how many times he had died. Then finally, in frustration, he struck the wall with his fist. His form was perfect. It was amazing, until the realization hit him. He had not awakened yet, and he had just hurt his hand for nothing. He started walking toward one side of the room. It had been a while since he was here. At least the first floor always began at the same starting point. He reached toward the wall, feeling around in the dimly lit room, searching for something in particular. It had to be here somewhere. He exclaimed in joy as he found a trapdoor mechanism. As he pushed it, he wondered which psychopath had hidden it here. A massive doorway opened, revealing an exit from the once tightly sealed room. Light shone from the other side of the hallway. As he stepped forward, he wondered how many times he had died on this very floor, in this very room. Before he found the opening mechanism, he had died several times due to hunger. It was even worse when others were present, because not only would they kill each other, but they would even eat one another just to survive. Usually you were killed by someone else before awakening. How was an ordinary man supposed to survive? During the times he thought he could not escape, he would always die. But he had been revived over and over, just like now. He prepared himself to leave the room. He was always irritated by the letters L.A.G. He thought it meant his life was lagging. But it did not matter what it meant. The most important thing was survival. He was determined. He did not want any more repetitions. He certainly did not want to die. He finally reached the end of the hallway and entered a brightly lit room. In the center was a stack of red cubes of different sizes, arranged like ice cubes. In front of the structure stood a cylindrical podium with a white screen on top. John placed his hand on the screen. A system notification appeared. Player L.A.G confirmed. Starting awakening. The awakening began, causing him immense pain. Although he had experienced it several times, he never grew used to it. Finally, the notification read, "Awakening complete. Skills will now be given randomly. You have acquired the active skills, Light and Flame. You have also acquired the passive skills, Pant and Barehanded Combat." Finally, the system stated, "Final goal, reach the lowest basement level." He then received a summary of his skills and attributes. He could only have 2 active skills. He could have an infinite number of passive skills. He was shocked. Normally, you could acquire around 10 active skills, while passive skills were always limited to 2. But in his case, it was reversed. Only 2 active skills, but infinite passive ones. It was a heavy restriction, but also a blessing. Another notification appeared. Weapons will now be given randomly. John hoped for something useful. From the podium, an axe materialized. He was relieved. There had been times when he had received ridiculous items, like a spoon, a rubber hammer, a doll, or even condoms. After trying out the axe, he stepped out of the room. This time, he had a good start. He continued down the hallway until he reached the end, where 2 doors stood. Both led to staircases going down. His options were B11 or B12. In the past, he usually chose B11, but this time he decided on B12.
The stairs seemed endless, stretching into darkness. The deeper he went, the darker it became. At the bottom, he activated his light skill. He saw the entrance of a room with B12 written above the door. He entered and closed it behind him. Inside was a vast open space. He hadn't been here in a long time. There was no turning back now.
A system notification appeared. Mission for beginners. Go, annihilate the zombies. Reward, random skill acquisition or one of your skills randomly leveled. The room was pitch black. He had to move quietly and stay close to the wall to avoid detection. Growling noises echoed around him, drawing closer. He activated light. In the darkness, zombies appeared. They had strong jaws, sharp teeth, and wrinkled gray bodies. Their movements were slow but dangerous. John widened his stance, prepared for combat. As the zombies leapt forward, he swung his pickaxe with all his might, striking one square in the head. He kicked it away to free his weapon, ready for the next attack. Their only weakness was the head. Destroying their bodies did nothing. They kept moving. Many times before, he had ignored this and been bitten. 2 more zombies lunged. They moved slowly at first, then attacked suddenly to catch him off guard. John activated his flame skill, shooting fire from his hands. The zombies burned to ashes, screaming in pain before collapsing. This was why he had chosen B12. Zombies were weak to fire, and he had both flame and a pickaxe to destroy their heads. Cautiously, he advanced. Suddenly, a childlike zombie leapt at his face. He was startled, but his instincts kicked in. He swung his pickaxe, striking the back of its head and rendering it immobile. He stomped on its body to free his weapon. Its head snapped off, stuck to the pickaxe. He had never seen such a tiny monster before. Perhaps it had made no noise because of its size. Finally, the notification appeared. Zombie destruction complete. He could choose 2 rewards. He chose to acquire another skill and gain the passive skill, Tough Skin. For his second reward, he chose the key to BZ1. He felt lucky. If he had been given another active skill, he would have had to discard one of his existing ones. Now, he had 3 passive skills: Pant for speedy recovery, Barehanded Combat for fighting, and Tough Skin to harden his body. It was his first time holding 3 passive skills, and he could keep them all until the end. Passive skills enhanced physical ability the most, and he could have an infinite number of them. For the first time, he felt reassured. With this ability, things could finally be different. This time, he could do it.